Well, hello, hello, hello. I am live. Hi, how are you all doing? Listen, we've got people from Louisiana here. Oh my goodness, it's just absolutely exciting. Pittsburgh, yay, we've got all the Americans on here. How are you doing? Yes, as you can probably guess, all you from America. I'm from Ireland originally. So, just a little bit about me before I start, but just in case you're wondering what you've come on to create your own matrix. Now, what I see that as is that there's so much information out there, like just so much information, and you're thinking too much. Like, stop thinking. Who here, like, write in the chat here, are you sick of thinking? Because that's exactly the way I was. Listen, you cannot think your way out of the problem that you thought your way into. Who said that? Who said that famous quote? Come on, something like that anyway. I think it might have been a little fella called Einstein. So, but what do? We're taught to work out our problems. We're taught to think, 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 think. And it's really quite funny because the program that I'll be sharing the information to you tonight is thinking into results. But we're actually narrowing down all the thinking, yes, all that overthinking that you're doing that's causing you stress. We're going to narrow it down. We're going to narrow it down, and we're going to narrow it down, and we're going to narrow it down. And we're going to put this little wee matrix on your head so that this is the only thinking that you're going to do. These 12 things that I'm going to share with you tonight. Yes, we've got there Einstein. Absolutely great. Great to have you on here. I can see you, Anna. That's absolutely brilliant. So, listen, who am I? For those of you who don't know me, I'm 54 years old for a start, so I've got a little bit of experience behind me. I've been here, there, and everywhere. And like the rest of you, we've all got some life problems that we've had to challenge. You know, it's like this, like a little story, up and down and up and down. But here we're here. Look, we're all 100% successful in whatever it was we got over because you're here now watching this. So hands up. Congratulations for all of you who are literally so successful right now. 100% successful. That's it. You're here now and you're living and you're breathing. And it may have been a hell of a ride. Believe me, I know this ride. It's been a hell of a ride, but we're here together. And what I want to help bring you tonight is some peace. Just some peace. Who would like some peace from their thinking? Give us a like if you want that as well. Give us lots of thumbs up tonight. Give us little hearts. Give us little everything. And let's share the good vibes with everybody going on. So, listen, my background is corporate. So, all the exciting stuff there. And I was a premier performer. And it wasn't such an easy ride, but I'm not going to go into my story too much. That's all I've got to say about that. A premier performer, had a few ups and downs in my life. And then I came across this man called Bob Proctor. Now, I thought I knew everything. Now, hands up who's studied and studied and studied the personal development. Have you done that? How much money have you spent on your personal development to get you here right now? And are you where you want to be? And are you still thinking? Listen, I was exactly the same. Whenever I went to study with Bob Proctor, let me tell you, I was 70K in debt and I came up with 30,000 to go and work with that man because I knew that he had the answer. Listen, he'd been studying it for 60 years, but this information comes from 100 years. It comes from literally Andrew Carnegie times, like a way back then, to literally, oh, look at that hand. Anybody else got a super duper hand like Wolfgang Gold there? Give us some waves and give us some likes. That'll be absolutely brilliant. So, this information comes from there, but that wasn't good enough for me. That was just one source of information. So I had to go and study all the science behind this. So not only, did I get my qualifications, etc., 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 which actually helped me nothing. We were taught that if you had lots of qualifications and you worked really hard, that you'd have lots of money. And I was like the educated derelict, let me tell you. Yes, the educated derelict. That was Bob's term for me. It was just like I knew so much, but I didn't have the results. So listen, I studied this program, Thinking into Results, and I've studied it about 12 times, and I still study it every single day with my clients now. I've lost count really as to how many times. And I realized that what Bob had given us was that matrix to cut out all the nonsense that you've got out there. Literally, that matrix that stops all the nonsense. Who would like a bit of peace? I mean, who would like a bit of peace in their life? Who would like to know where they're going? Who would like to be rid of fear? That's one of the things, let me tell you there, that I actually realized that I had spent all my life living in fear. And it comes from little stories as you're a child. Yes, little stories as you're a child that were, I had me waiting by the door that, somebody was going to, whatever it was, that I went through. And then other times I'd be afraid of the phone, and then I'd be afraid of the bills that came in. I mean, I just seemed to spend my life in fear. And then you go and work for a pharmaceutical company. And let me tell you, every single year there's redundancy scares. And so you're literally on pins all the time, wondering. So we want to literally be free of fear. And the other thing is that the feeling of being wrong. Let me tell you, you never did anything wrong. You never have done. And I know that you're not agreeing with me, probably, or you're probably pointing fingers at somebody else. Well, they did something wrong. I'm here to tell you that nobody's ever done anything wrong. Now, that may be a big thing for you to take on. But imagine if you actually felt that. Imagine if you thought, I've never done anything wrong. Nobody's done anything wrong. Life is perfect. Could you imagine how less thinking that you'd have? So think about your problems. Where are your problems if you don't think about them? Where are they? I mean, just that moment there. Where are your problems if you don't think about them? See, what I realized is thinking was causing all my problems. All that overthinking was literally causing so many results because I was completely closed minded. And then any opportunity that came along, I would think, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. And so here's an example of whenever I was 19 and I went to an interview for the RAF. And they said that my IQ was something like 150, 160, and they just wanted me to be an officer. And I'm like, I think you've got the wrong person. I don't even know what IQ means. I mean, I didn't tell them that, but I'd gone to be a secretary. So I had this whole conversation and a whole life script at that time that I was a secretary and I was not an officer and that they got the wrong person. So I just sort of said, yes, I'll be back. And I never went back. Like, who else has missed out on opportunities like this? We want to stop that right now. We want to stop that right now. So, what have you come on here tonight for? What is it you want to hear? Put it in the chat there. Just tell me, what is it that's bugging you right now? What is it that if you could just stop it, your life would just be peace? Or is there something that you want? What is your intention for coming on here? What got you on the call? What was it that you wanted? Now, I did say, some of you may know this, that I am going to give this program away to somebody. Now, here's the thing, it doesn't just go to anybody. This is a £10,000 program, and it does not just go to anybody. Now, I've given this program away twice, and I don't tell people who's got it because I want that person to feel like they've already earned it, they've already paid for it. Okay, that's absolutely brilliant. And miss an opportunity, absolutely great. Don't miss out on opportunities because at least then you can make informed choices. So listen, that guy who literally I gave the program to, I mean, I saw him on Facebook and he was just incredible. And I just gifted him this. It was like it's like a scholarship that I'm giving. And he is now a millionaire. Like, I kid you not. I didn't do the work. He studied the work. I just help you along because I've been through it so many times. Because what we're talking about here is, paradigm shifting. Now, it's not about just getting a goal. Like, you can do your goals. You're all blooming intelligent. Absolutely amazingly intelligent. I know you can get goals, but they're within your paradigm. They're within your box. They're easy. No problem. Law of attraction, easy whenever you're in your box. Who wants to create something that's outside of their box? Now, that's what I'm talking about. Who's got an amazing idea? You've been trying so long. You've studied and studied and studied, and it's still not come to fruition. You're the one I want to be talking to. Thank you. Be Mo Happy. I love that. Came to connect with you. Your energy is so great. Well, so is yours. And there's Zoe in here as well. Absolutely brilliant. Yes. So you want it. Me. Have you got the great idea? Share your idea. Let me see it. Let me hear it. So there's a call link down there. or up there, depending on where it is on this platform. And you can book a call with me. Now, there's 10 questions that will either block you having a call with me or allow you through, because I'm only taking 3 calls from 3 people, okay, for the 10 grand program that I'm going to give away for free. It's a scholarship. It's not really for free. It's a scholarship. That's what you're going to be earning. So you have to earn it. And I'll know from the answer to your questions whether it's for you or not. Because if one of the things that I realized, so when I studied, the work with Bob Proctor and Andrew Carnegie, I studied the science behind it as well. And I studied the scripture. And it all says the same thing. Now, people ask me, are you religious, Sheena? I'm not religious. I'm studying scripture. I want to make sure that my left brain has enough logic, because you're all logic people out there. My left brain had enough information that it could reason on something and allow me to have something great. Because anytime your right brain wants to do something amazing, your left brain chirps in and goes, no, you can't do that. And so that's why we study this information. So I'd like to take it to the TV screen and for it to be a big hit. Absolutely. Oh, a comedy script. Well, that just sounds amazing. Absolutely. Yes, and you want to stop chasing shadows. Well, listen, that's what we're all doing. When we're all shadows here, if you can really see the core of who you are, the core of who you are is perfection. Perfection. The core of who you are is perfection. And yes, I was chasing shadows as well. And we're all chasing shadows. But you see, here's the words here: man without vision will perish. What does that mean? That means if you haven't got a goal, you're going to go round and round and round and round in circles, and you will kill yourself. Because that energy, you are energy, it has to go somewhere. And it is going wherever you're putting your eyes. So if you have no goal, it's like playing football without the goal. Like, that's a bit boring, isn't it? Nobody's going to come and watch that. Well, you know what? The universe isn't coming either. It's not going to come and watch you. It's like, well, where are you going? It's like getting in the car and not having somewhere to go. Oh my goodness. You wouldn't do that. So remember that statement. These statements have brought me through. They're backed up by evidence. You are energetic beings. Your energy is going somewhere. If you don't point it somewhere, it will eat you up inside. So you must point it somewhere. Like you are light itself. The science is showing us that. You are literally light shining absolutely everywhere. You are beautiful beings, shining your light everywhere, for goodness sake. What we want to do is get that matrix on your head and laser focus you. Laser focus your energy, and you can have whatever you want. Not what somebody else wants, not what you think you want, but what you really want. What is it you truly, truly desire? You see, I thought I wanted to build a massive coaching company. And then it just dawned on me last year, I don't want to do that. I just want to play polo. I'm still doing this, but I want to play polo. And my partner wants to build hotels. And there'll be more on that later on in the year. Keep your eye out on that. I mean, it's something to do with $60 million or whatever. I don't know. Stop counting. But what is it you really want to do? And when you tap into your heart's desire and you make a decision, then things start to come. Absolutely. What if you don't know what you want? Well, I think you do know what you want. I mean, that's the thing. I think you do know, but you're scared. I've had conversations with some people and they've never been able to say what they truly wanted to anybody else around them. But people have come to me, and by the time we've had a conversation, they're literally opening and opening and opening and opening. In fact, one guy went, can I tell you, I actually want to be a billionaire. And I went, great. What does that look like? Nothing is off limits with me. I had it again with another company, a company that they were literally staying here, and I'm like trying to prize them out. And the most I'd ever earned in a year was 200K. Listen, in 8 months' time, they were on $1 million a month. So I know you do know what you want, but are you willing to admit it? Are you being honest with yourself? Or are you afraid to actually say? Because who would it offend? Who would get upset? What if you wanted just to run away and travel the world and leave everybody behind? You see, sometimes our goals and our visions actually scare us. But if we can start to admit them, we can ask the universe, how can I do that? How can I make that happen? How can that happen for me? You don't have to figure it all out. I absolutely promise you, you don't have to figure it all out. You see, what we've got here is we're in a box. We're programmed to be this way. And we're programmed to be on the escalator where your subconscious, which is 98% of you, the bit that you can't see, you've no clue what's going on. The escalator is going down. And the 2% of you is running up the stairs. It's running and running and running. And if you stop running, then you fall down and it goes back. But thinking into results brought me on the escalator that was going up. And so I just ride the escalator and I'm learning to. I'm not saying I've got it right now. Oh my goodness. I probably wouldn't be on this planet. I'd be with Bob. So I'm still learning, listen, I'm only 4 years in. Bob was 60 years in. But listen, we could all save ourselves 60 years worth of effort if we just listened to what Bob Proctor told us to do in the first place. I think the guy knew a thing or two. So who wants to be on the escalator that goes up? Who would like to be on that? Who would like to finally just stop and rest? Who would like that? Absolutely. Well, you can. It's scary, It's scary to stop thinking. You've been so used to thinking your way out of every single problem. So used to it that to stop doing that is really, really scary. To stop working so hard is really, really scary. Being taught if you're not working hard. Do you know in the Bible it says, ask, believe, receive? It doesn't say work your ass off. It doesn't say that anywhere. So why are we all working so hard? And then maybe you'll say, well, money doesn't matter, but you're working so hard to have it. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. You're amazing. Like totally amazing. So give us a like if you're liking this information. Tell me if you want to hear, me tell you something else in here and we can just ramble on all night. No, I'm going to stick to the hour. I'm going to honor your time and you can watch this back at any time because I'm going to say a lot of information in a very short period of time. You want a pen, you want a piece of paper, go get it now. Or else you can come back and listen to me another time and share this video so that other people can see it as well. So what else am I offering you tonight? So not just one person to have a scholarship, but 3 people who are very, very close. They can have this program for 50% reduction. Okay, that's 50%. So but you have to prove it to me. You have to prove it to me. I'm not just giving this for no reason. If there's nobody here tonight, then I'll just run this again until I find somebody. We're going to start on Monday. And so even if you don't get the runners-up prize, there's still another offer to go on. And we're going to start on Monday. And it's going to be an amazing 6 months of your life. It's going to fit in, my goodness, 100 years worth of research and 2,000 years worth of truth. You're going to fit it in to 6 months. And goodness knows where your life would be after that, let me tell you. So let me get started and let me tell you about the 12 lessons. Okay. So this is the basis of how to think. Are you ready? Are you all ready? Good, good, good. So listen, lesson 1. Now, I've already said the scripture that attaches to this. Now, I've added this scripture bit in. Bob didn't do that. I do all the science and everything behind it. Bob just says it how it is, and you've just got to follow his instructions. I give you the background to it, the science, the scripture, and the evidence so that your left brain logic is able to reason and allow your right brain to dream. Because you see, that's what happens. Our right brain's the dreamer. It's the creative side of us. And then, but then the left brain goes, never going to happen. Don't be silly. And then if you actually take action, then the reptilian brain kicks in and it just goes, panic, panic, panic. She thinks she can earn £1 million. Oh my goodness. No, 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 no. And it sends cortisol down your body and then you're in fear. And then you decide, oh, no, 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 this mustn't be for me. And so you back off. I'm here to tell you, we're going to learn to walk into fear. And it's just with your thinking. And what you want is on the other side of fear. So, lesson one, a man without vision will perish. So, there's so many people that I can ask you a question: what is your goal? I want you to tell me your goal as if you're speaking to Alexa and you're giving her an order. You're all very good at giving Alexa orders and Siri orders, aren't you? You're really, really good at asking for what you want. I want you to do that for yourself and to the universe. Remember that. A man without vision will perish. Your energy has to go somewhere. If it's not pointed in one direction, it will go where whoever wants to take the direction. It's like being in a lift and everybody else is pressing the buttons and you're just along there for a ride, and then you're going, I never get what I want because you didn't press the button. We've got to choose something. Choose something that is worth getting out of bed for. Now, we start off with a grand, grand vision of our life, because that is what got me out of bed at my worst times, when I lost everything. When I would wake up at 5 and I go, what's the point in getting up? This isn't working. The pity party that I just went over and over and over and over again. But then I would see my vision and I go, oh, so this doesn't matter. And then I would put my feet on the floor and I would make the decision. I made the decision every single day until one day the decision made me. So I'm in a house, 2 up, 2 down, and now we're in our beautiful barn in the middle of a field, which is exactly the image I had. It was exactly what I drew, and I couldn't actually believe it, but it all happened really, really quickly. It was like as if everybody wanted us to have this house, and in a 6-week period, it all just happened really fast. Now, that was the vision that came from my heart. That was the first one. I just realized, well, if you're going to ask for anything, you might as well just ask for the moon, honest to goodness. Why not? Dream, because then that raises your spirits and you get into inspiration. So find something, you go, what is your dream life? Something that you could really go to sleep with, that you could really dream about. What would that be? See, I want to play polo all the way around the world. How am I going to do that? I'm not a professional polo player. But then I heard something, and then I heard something, and then I realized, and suddenly dots were able to be linked. Now, I can't link the dots going forward. It's only when I look back and I go, look at all the stuff that's happened that brought me to this. And so far I've played in Dubai, I've played in Austria, and I've played in Barbados. Where else? That's Texas is next, I think, or Boston. But anyway, so that's the idea. Have something that inspires you. You know, if you choose a goal that's too close to you, say you wanted 10,000 a month, well, you're going to figure out how to get there. And then you're just in your paradigm, and then you're in stress, and then you're trying to work really hard and you're trying to get there. That's just not going to work. So lesson one is literally about really find a goal that is super, super big, that scares you. And that if anybody asked you, they'd laugh. That is then. Yes, inspiration. That if people aren't laughing at you, you're not doing anything different. You want people to laugh at you. You want them to criticize you. You want them to say, you're mad. No way is that going to happen. Then you know you're doing something different. Do not look for validation for anybody. And don't tell anybody your goal anyway, unless you're happy to be laughed at, because that will knock your vibration. Your vibration is key. Your alignment with yourself is key. The acceptance of yourself is key. That's a lot that I've just said there. I hope you've written it down or listened to what I've said over and over and over again, and eventually the penny will drop. Okay? So in that goal, you make a decision that this is happening. End of. This is happening. I don't know how, but it's happening. And that's your job done. And you never deny it. You never deny your goal. In the Bible, it said, I think Jesus was with Peter or something, and he said, by the time the clock strikes 12, you will have denied me 3 times. You see, what we do is we do our affirmations in the morning. Then by the time we get to lunchtime, maybe we said, I'm a millionaire. And then by the time you've got to lunchtime, somebody's asked you for money and you said, well, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Boom. What's the thing the universe is going to give you? Can't afford it. Completely forgotten about your affirmation this morning. Do you see? Make the decision and do not deny. Now, in lesson two, what we do, and what we deep dive into. So remember, each of these lessons are 2 weeks long. This isn't just about knowledge. I mean, there's going to be some of you on here that are going to get this and go, wow, and they're off. And you do not need me. You do not need this program. You will be off, no problem. Good luck to you. Absolutely. There'll be some of you who'll think this is a load of rubbish, and or that's really nice, and you won't do anything about it at all. There's some of you who want this, but you'll think you're not worthy of it, and you won't try and find the money because you can't see the money right now, and you won't make the effort. And then there's some of you who will do this program, and you will change the whole trajectory of your life and your family's life and generations to come. Your brain is changing right now just on this webinar. Imagine 6 months of Bob Proctor, Sandy Gallagher, and myself drumming it into you who you really are. Because that is the first real step that we do. That is mainly what I talk about, is who you really are. So let's go. Lesson 2. It's called the knowing doing gap. You all know what to do, but you don't do it. Why? Paradigms are right there. So Bob has an exercise in this called non-productive actions, but actually non-productive actions are easy. I mean, if you're looking at your Facebook, 6 hours a day, that's clearly non-productive. I mean, you could be running a business, for goodness sake. I mean, if you love your phone that much, run a business on it. Like, seriously, there's so many online businesses out there, for goodness sake, and just go and do one of those. So non-productive actions, non-productive thoughts, and non-productive feelings. What we want to do is we want to design our life like a clinical trial. Listen, the pharmaceutical industry nailed this, absolutely. They decide the outcome of the trial before they even start. This is what you're doing. Think of yourself as a clinical trial. Anybody here from the pharmaceutical industry? Design your life like a pharmaceutical trial. You decide what the outcome is, and then you power the trial to match that outcome. So what we're going to do is we're going to design the outcome we want, and we are going to power ourselves up, which then will match the outcome. Do you understand? So for whatever your goal is, who is the person that has that goal? That's what we're looking at here. So lesson 2 is, what would the thoughts be like? Well, you wouldn't be saying, I can't. That never works for me. No. So think of certain things. So you would talk about your relationship, your family, your business, and your finance maybe. And you will have one thought for each of those areas. That's it. When you think about your bank account, you think £1 million in there. No problem. That's it. End of story. Or whatever number that you want to have. And you will not deny it. Clearly, as you're going through your day, there's techniques and things that we teach you along the way to help you deal with that. But you must not deny your goal. So lesson 2 is all about non-productive things. Stop it. That's it. Stop it. End of story. You want your goal? That's why it has to be big enough. It has to be big enough to affect you enough that you are worth doing this for. We cannot have random thoughts going around. No. So lesson 3, what happens in lesson 3? You've all got a story going on. I had a poor me story. It's not fair. I've done all the work. Look at all the qualifications I've got. I'm a master in coaching, masters in business, masters in Reiki, masters in NLP, masters in hypnotherapy, and I still haven't got any money. Poor me. It's not fair. Anybody else got that story? What's your pity party story? Yeah? It's not fair. They don't speak to me right. Like, we're like little children in our head. Like, we really are. And I'm not making fun out of you. I'm making fun out of me. It was so pathetic, honest to goodness. But I couldn't hear any of that. My stories were horrendous. Then we've got stories maybe for 20 years ago. What are you still doing talking about them? Listen, the past is in the past. It's done. There's absolutely nothing in the past that is going to help you today. Unless you want it to. Unless you want your past to be your future. Because there's only now, and whatever you're talking about now becomes the next now. So if you're talking about that now, that's your next now. Like, you don't need a clairvoyant, do you? You don't need a clairvoyant. You don't need a tarot card reader. You have a conversation with me for 5 minutes. Tell me about what you normally talk about. I'll tell you exactly what your future is. You're creating it with every word that comes out of your mouth. So you want to create a new story, and you want to keep it sharp and sweet and as simple as possible. I created a Cinderella story. That'll be out later on in the year. So what's your story? What is your story? You write it and you stick to it. Okay, lesson 4. So this is how the successful think. This is literally what Andrew Carnegie sent Napoleon Hill out to find out, how the successful think. Fit yourself into this matrix and you can't go far wrong. It doesn't matter whether you're religious, whether you're spiritual, whether you're coming from the physical plane, whether you're coming from the mental plane. This stuff works. It does help if you really, really know who you are, though, first of all. But again, that's another story for another time. So lesson 4 is feedback from the universe. Bob calls this a secret genie. And this is where you see something you don't want. Don't pay attention to it. Go back into your mind, redo it, and keep doing it until you impress it into your subconscious. Do not react to the outside world. This is mastery. This is mastery. Reacting is just like an animal. Reacting, which means if you keep doing that, you will keep bringing the past into, by fighting it, by kicking and screaming, not going to change it. In fact, it's holding it in place. It's holding it in place. Who likes these lessons so far? Have you put down everything? Have you started to write this down? These lessons, my goodness, if you can really get them, I am giving you everything here. I am giving you everything. So lesson 5 are the intellectual faculties. Now, what did I say before about the left brain? The left brain loves a story. It just loves a story. And it's logical. And if you're doing everything logical, by the way, you're in the past. Logic is what you know. Illogical is something new, something different. So it's got to be illogical for change to happen. If you keep doing the logical, you're still in the past. I mean, it's like the Rubik's Cube. You're just moving things around and the feeling never goes and it still pops up, but it pops up in a different problem, different time. So lesson 5, the intellectual faculties. I haven't got time to go into them right now, but let me just give them to you straight away. Perception, reasoning, imagination, memory, intuition. I left one key one out in the middle there. Will. They are so amazing for getting your left brain to work with your right brain. And that's what we want to do, is having them literally working together. Because when you do that, you start to have some synchronicity. You have some coherence. And then your heart can get involved and everything is just working. You're not fighting yourself. You're not in duality, because that's what tends to happen. You decide something and you go, oh, was that right? Oh, should I do this? You're always arguing against yourself, and that is disintegration. And that's why lesson 1, decision, is so, so key. Absolutely key. It's the most amazing article in the first lesson itself. So lesson 1 is basically everything. And all these other lessons are to power you up to make lesson 1 happen. So lesson 6, the self-image. Wow. By their fruits, you'll know them. So you may have a lot of the qualifications, you may know a lot, but if you do not have the results, there's something missing here. And it'll be to do with your self-image. Yeah. Your self-image is programmed to be a certain way. So if maybe you've tried to lose weight, and if we try to lose weight using our conscious mind, our 2% conscious mind, we'll get results, but we have to concentrate and focus. But if we can use our subconscious, and we can learn to give our subconscious an instruction, then we just follow. It knows what to do. Listen, your subconscious has kept you breathing. Who's beating your heart right now? Who is that? Who's beating your heart? Who's breathing you? Who is breathing you right now? So don't you think you can hand over some of this trust to this most amazing, amazing infinite intelligence that is keeping you alive? But if your self-image, like mine, whenever I was 19, was programmed in to be a secretary, what if you could reprogram that? And it's just like computers. Listen, my background is computer science. Reprogramming. Reprogram a computer, reprogram minds. It's the same thing. But we've got to stick to the same thing, not read this book, that book, this book, that book, this course, this course, this course. No, no, no. Bob Proctor went and figured out the 12 things that kept people, their brain, calm. So then you could start to hear the intuition that's inside of you. And then you can use your intellectual faculties. You can use this body mind to have great, amazing results because you're clear and focused going forward. Who doesn't like, who wants the easy ride? Who wants to be going on the escalator? You need your self image to be in line with the goal that you want. Don't work towards your goal. Your goal already is given. Creation is finished. Your goal exists. If you have seen it in your mind, it means it exists. It is scientifically proven. I haven't got time to go into that now. Go and check it out yourself. There's plenty of YouTube videos telling you that. Your goal is already done. Faith never questions. You know you're close to your goal whenever it just feels normal. It's like taking the last step in a marathon. You go, oh, well, that was easy. But maybe at the beginning you were like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to get there. But keep going forward. Just don't deny your goal. And create a self-image and act like it. Pretend. But don't change yourself, because this is growing from the inside out. Don't try to be something that you're not. Know that you are. And eventually it will come out. Flowers grow from the inside out. We don't drag them out of the seed, do we? They grow from the inside out. You and your idea are seeds. But with all seeds, we have to dig and put them in the ground and dig a wee hole. And then we cover it over and then it's not there. And everybody's laughing at you going, well, you're not going to get your goal. Well, no, because I've just planted the seed. Give me a chance. You know, an elephant, what does it takes 2 years? And a dog can create babies one after the other, after the other, after the other. But when the elephant gives birth, the earth knows about it when the baby elephant lands, doesn't it? So you want to be having goals like that, don't you? The earth knows whenever your goal has come true. So where are we now? Somebody remind me. Lesson 7 is that we call this the terror barrier. So how to deal with fear. That's a lesson all in itself. But to be honest, fear is not what you think. Fear is actually your best friend. And when you can start to realize is that fear is just telling you that you're doing something different, that you're changing the pattern. That's all. You are a pattern happening. You are a tune happening. You are a vibration happening. And what we want to do is find our own tune. We've been singing somebody else's tune for way too long. And when you try to find yourself and go in alignment with yourself and accept yourself, it feels awkward. Your body's like, what? That's not right. And so it causes fear inside you. But when we learn to realize that fear is our best friend and is actually telling us that you're changing a pattern. But what happens with that fear is sometimes the world reorganizes itself. And so you think you've done something wrong. You haven't. The world is reorganizing itself because you are reorganizing yourself inside. So fear is really, really good thing. So lesson 8 is praxis. So this is what I said before at the beginning. It's just like, don't deny your goal. You can't say one thing and then behave another way. Do you understand that? You can't say one thing and then behave another way. I was always taught, dress for the job you want, not for the job you have. So I always dressed like I was a leader. And, you know, the people who I was working with, they didn't like me really a lot for the first 6 months until they realized that it was just Sheena, there's no big problem. They thought I was somebody. But I was somebody. I dressed for the job I wanted. I acted like the job. And so I got the jobs because I was always acting up. I was always being more than what I was. Not in an ego sense. I was just enjoying being me and looking forward to the next thing that was happening. So do not say one thing and act another because you just literally nullify all your affirmations. So the next one is attitude. Lesson 9, attitude. What I noticed about me, like, I know all of you watching here right now have got a positive mental attitude. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on here. You're absolutely intelligent. You're amazing. I know you are. And my attitude to life was brilliant, but my attitude to myself was crap, absolutely crap, and I couldn't hear it. I had so many horrible things that I was saying to myself that I thought, oh my goodness. When I started doing this work, thinking into results, it starts to bring up all that rubbish because as you go forward and you put the good stuff in, the old stuff comes out. It has to. It's just being got rid of. And I could hear all these things that I was saying to myself, and I was really quite shocked. And it took me down. It took me down for a while. So I know how to help you get around that because that took me down, and I don't want that to take anybody else down. And so remember, if this information is resonating with you, the link is in the description. Just book a call. But remember, you've got 10 questions to answer before you get on a call with me. I may not take your call depending on your answer. So before you fill it in, you might want to think, what do I want? Am I being true? I will spot your integrity a mile off. I will spot your authenticity a mile off. My IQ is high, and I realize what that was that I'm a pattern spotter. And so I can spot patterns. I can also spot the break in patterns. I can spot your paradigms so easily, so easily. And so we're not on a call for a chat. You're on a call to change your life. So I'm serious. Are you serious? I'm not really that serious. I am about who comes to talk to me because I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time either. My goodness, you're absolutely perfect the way you are. If you don't want to change your life, don't change your life. Accept it where you are. This is you for the rest of your life. Accept it. It's okay. You're absolutely perfect. And you don't have to have more. But for those of you who've got a desire for more and you know fine rightly there's something there that you want. You know you were meant for better. And look at the chapter on the science of getting rich. The first chapter says basically that if you're not rich, you're downright selfish because you're just looking after yourself then. We didn't come here to be misers' chests. We came here to be distributors. What are you distributing? Stand up. Don't be afraid. Be bold. Be brave. Make a conviction that life is changing because it's not just you, it's your family and it's generations to come. I'm the paradigm shifter in my family. I'm the paradigm shifter in my family. Are you going to be for yours? So listen, lesson 10. I love these lessons. These ones are so amazing. Like these next two lessons, my goodness, they kind of saved my life a bit. Like lesson 10 is about make sure that you're the most valuable person. So many times we're told about selfless leadership. But if you're being selfless whenever you're only giving 50%, because that's 100% of what you have left, that's selfish. So I want you to learn to be selfish. I want you to learn that you are the most valuable person in the room and that you deserve. Not that you're taking from anybody else. There's nothing you can take from anybody else. When you really know what this universe is about, there's nothing that you can take from anybody. There's nothing you can get from anybody either. You are the most valuable person and treat yourself that way. Bob Proctor says, wake up in the morning and give yourself a kiss, not like ego, but in the complete respect and acceptance of the amazingness and the miracle of the life that you are, because you really are a miracle. When you really start to study the science behind who you are a freaking miracle. And you're beautiful and you're gorgeous and you are perfect. And there's no need for personal development. Let me tell you now, this program is not about personal development. That develops the ego, which has got you all tightly strung in the first place. It's actually about destruction of the belief system. And we don't even need new beliefs because you can make up new beliefs every day, depending on what you want. We don't really need to install them. But for some reason, it just takes a wee while sometimes. Some people get it like that. They just do. And other people, but we don't know their journey. We don't know the 10 million things that brought them to this place right here, right now, that means that they got it. So never compare your journey. You've got a unique journey way above everybody else. You're so unique, it's unbelievable. And so, lesson 11. Leave everybody with the impression of increase. It's kind of a funny one. First of all, leave yourself with the impression of increase. Yeah. So you're doing that with lesson 10. Because when you treat yourself as the most valuable person in the room, then you actually end up treating other people. To see how being selfish makes you self full, which then allows you to be selfless. I watched a little child say to her sister, "Oh, you're just so full of yourself." And I felt like going, well, who else would she be full of? It's okay to be full of yourself. Remember, that was like said as if it was like, who do you think you are, Sheena? You're just so full of yourself. Whenever I was a child. Well, who else would I be full of? Who else would you be full of? When you're full of yourself, you radiate joy and happiness and, oh my goodness. And there's that child just knocked down like that. Don't be full of yourself. No, 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 can't be doing that. But if you're full of yourself, you're happy. And then you want to make other people happy too. That's selfless leadership, not giving of the self when you've got nothing left. My goodness, put yourself first. Be selfish and see how it just actually just overflows anyway. It's just natural, it's effortless. And so leaving others with the impression of increase doesn't mean to say that you walk around going, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other. Look at me. In fact, it seems to be the opposite. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Big lesson that I had there. As soon as you try to stand on something, try to be something, that means you think you're superior to everybody else. Well, there's only one way down. Yep, down. But if you're on the floor and you're just equal and you just accept everybody and everything's the same, after all, we're all made of light, we're all made of energy, we're all the same. At the very core of us, every single one of us is the same. Every single one. You're not special. You are unique, but you're not special. Everybody's the same. And when you can see that, then that is a relaxing energy that is, people feel good around you. You're not trying to be anything, you just are. That's a nice energy. But also, if you're feeling crap, or you've had a crappy day, don't dump your crap on somebody else. How dare you? How dare you bring somebody else down because you're feeling crap? But Gina, I want to be honest. Why? Why would you bring somebody else down? Stop that right now. I want you to think about the other person when somebody asks you, how are you? And you think, they don't look like maybe they've had such a good day. Maybe I can lift them. Maybe I can say, you look good today. And maybe if they complain, that I can help them see another perspective. Maybe I can help them see the good that's in their life. There's always the other perspective. Do not dump your crap on somebody else. Please, let's stop that right now. Now, it's different whenever you want somebody to help you with something, you can say, but on a general basis, whenever you're walking around and we just say, I don't feel well, and then you bring everybody else down with you, nobody really cares. They don't really, because they're thinking about themselves, and they'll come in with a worse story than yours, and then the spiral is going down. And he that hath, more will be given. He that hath not, even that which he has, will be taken away. It's an energetic thing. So when you talk about having, you go up. When you talk about not having, you go down. I mean, it's your choice. It is your choice, because at the end of the day, it's you going to feel worse from just, you think a problem shared is a problem halved. It's not, it's multiplied, because that's what the next lesson is about. The next lesson is about the mastermind. And whenever you get together with anybody, there may just be like 2 of you, but it's 11. It multiplies. You talk about a problem, you put energy into the problem, and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, I had an example of, there was a hairdresser next to me, and she's doing the lady next to me, and she said to her, yeah, well, if my boyfriend ever cheated on me, I mean, the guy hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything, but she had a whole story. If he ever did, then she would do this, 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 and this. And I feel like saying to her, listen, that's going to happen in probably, I reckon, 1 year to 2 years' time, because she was so convicted about the story That, and when he does, he's going to get the blame. But she talked it into life. Be careful what you're talking into life. In your mastermind, when you're with your group of girls, group of friends, in the boardroom, it doesn't really matter. Be careful what you're talking into life. So if you are in the boardroom, one of the great things for this lesson at the end here is literally that you never speak about something that's never worked before. You're in the boardroom, you want an answer, and it's like, next. If somebody goes, that doesn't work, next. We're not interested in what doesn't work. We're only interested in what is going forward, what we actually want. So there's the 12 lessons. I'm not going to summarize them all again. My goodness, we'd be here for another month of Sundays, and it's now 50 minutes that we've been on here. So, what lesson resonated with you the most? Share on here. What was the lesson that resonated with you the most? The one that went, oh my goodness, I do that. I didn't know I do that, but now I do know that, and now you can change it. Even if there's just one lesson, one idea of that matrix. Remember, we study this for 6 months, and this is like putting that matrix on your head, and no thought that is outside where I'm going can get in, because I've got the matrix sealed. I'm not listening to anything else that's going on, anybody else, what they're saying. I'm listening to my own matrix. Who wants to create their own matrix? Absolutely. Who wants to close that knowing doing gap and literally close it? Book a call, the link's down there. But let me summarize this for you. Three things that we're going to do. Number one, you're going to have a vision that is so amazing that it is worth getting out of bed for. It is worth being scared for. 100%. It is a vision that is absolutely going to change your life and everybody else's life. That's the first thing you're going to do. And you're going to make a decision that you're going to do it. You're going to make a decision that you're going to book a call with me. Because who knows, it could be you that gets the program. Who knows, it could be you that's the runner-up. Who knows, it could be you that just starts next Monday and changes the life of you and your family. Who knows? So the next thing you're going to do is, who's the person? Who's the person? So let me give you an idea about why you have to be the person. So say you're on $5,000 pounds a month right now. $5,000 a month means you tend to make $5,000 a month decisions. And so you end up on $5,000 every month. Maybe it goes up to 6,000. Maybe it might even go up to 10,000. And then you start making $10,000 decisions. But what if, and this is the law of abundance, this is the law. What if you're on 5,000 right now, but then you start to make decisions? Maybe you want to earn 100 grand a month. Maybe that's what you want to do. Yeah, 100 grand a month. What if you made 100 grand a month decision? What if you were that person? What if you thought about being that person for long enough that you started to feel, I want to make this decision. And you made 100 grand a month decision. Then what you will do is you will attract the resources and the people along that line. But if you make your decisions on the 5 grand a month, then you can only ever attract those decisions and those ideas and those people. Do you understand? It's a really important point about your paradigm. You've got to shift yourself out of where you are. Think about the person who has the goal and make decisions from there, not from where you are now. Although you make the decision right here, right now, with whatever you've got, and not knowing how you're going to make it happen. Because then your self-image is, I want you to claim it. I am 100 grand a month earner. I am a professional polo player. I am director of Wolfgang Gold Hotels. You decide. And then when illogical stuff comes up and said that's illogical, you agree with it. You don't fight it. You agree and you go, that's illogical. Yeah, it is. It's totally illogical. So back in the day, whenever I was 70K in debt and I had to come up with 30,000, completely illogical, but it changed my world. What illogical decisions are you going to make today? I am so looking forward to hearing them. I literally am. Who's going to be the person who literally has the I've forgotten the word. It begins with an S. Who's going to have thinking into results as a scholarship? Who's going to do that? Whose idea is so great that I have to help you make it come true, no matter what? Whose idea is that? So I think that's about it. I literally do. I've absolutely enjoyed your time here, enjoyed my time here. And remember those 12 steps, but three of them, the vision, lesson 1, and the self image, lesson 6. And in fact, I'm sure if you actually go somewhere on my YouTube channel, you might actually find those lessons on there as well in a little bit more detail. So it has been absolutely fantastic to have you on here. Remember, it's all about a decision. The time is now. There is no other time. In the Bible, it says now is the accepted time. Because when you're in the future, it's now. There is no other time. And so if you don't have it now, you will never have it. Because I used to be that person who said, next year I'll have it. Next year I'll do this. Next year this will work. And it never came. And I had lots of qualifications and lots of hard work. And I don't want that for you. I want you to have the results. Do you want the results? Book that call. Thank you so much for being on here. It has been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to do more of these. Have an absolutely wonderful evening, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio now.